All right, guys. Next up, we have Anthony, again, from Triple Whale coming back on stage. As I said before, he is our Director of Product Marketing at Triple Whale. And he's going to be doing a panel with Austin Erlocker, who's the marketing strategist at Dixxon Flannel.
Awesome.
Hi, guys. Welcome. Welcome back, Anthony, and welcome to the stage, Austin.
Super happy to be here. So excited to interview one of my favorite users who is just such a power user and an amazing marketer. So yeah, Austin, thanks for joining us.
Anthony, happy to be here. Love partnering with Triple Whale. It's really made a huge impact on a pretty lean marketing team that we have here at Dixxon. So anything we can do to kind of spread the power of Triple Whale and Moby agents, I'm always happy to help.
Love it. Well, let's get into it. But before we dive into it, actually, I would love just to learn a little bit more about yourself so you can share with everyone, like, what is Dixxon? What is your role at Dixxon? What is your normal day-to-day? What does that look like?
Yeah, so Dixxon is a men's apparel brand. We really specialize in limited edition, really men's classics apparel. It started with the flannel, right? And we've evolved to really redefining a lot of the rest of the wardrobe that you would find in a Dixxon fan's closet. So short sleeve button ups, workwear. We do have a growing women's line as well. So it's really a creative and fun environment. We work with a lot of big metal bands, a lot of action sports athletes. As a skateboarder, I love the chance to work with some of my favorite skateboarders of all time. We work very closely with Travis Pastrana and Nitro Circus. Our marketing team itself, we actually rebuilt our marketing team from scratch last January. One of my old colleagues from an agency side came over, kind of built the team up from scratch, heavily invested in creative. We have a team of 9 total, but really only 2 of us have a formal performance background. So a lot of our team is designers, stylists, shoot coordinators, videographers, and then our marketing director, Robbie, and I really handle everything from the data side and actual new customer acquisition and retention. A lot of my hands on keyboards are for our paid media management, driving strategy for our email and SMS. We have a couple coordinators that will pull the levers on email, SMS, and organic social. And then our marketing director is really the more, brand level creative strategy there as well. Awesome. So we actually, I'll just add a note of, like, with that pretty lean performance team, we have a saying here. I don't want to kick things off like swearing already, so I'll censor myself, but FitFo, figure it the F out. Like, Moby has really helped us be able to do that at a much faster rate and see some really awesome results.
Love that, and we're gonna be stealing that at Triple Whale. So that sounds great. Yeah, no, I think that's such a helpful breakdown, and it's important to know, like, okay, when we say we're a lean team, like, where are we indexing on certain areas? And I guess when you think about how you started using like Moby AI, but what was like where you first saw a need for using AI, whether that was in Triple Whale or elsewhere too?
Yeah, so I would say we more saw not necessarily a need, but saw an early opportunity. One of our former agency partners actually built like an add-on to ChatGPT where it was taught based off of all of our founders' original posts when he was managing our account, all of our accounts, really doing everything on his own. And we wanted to be sure our team can continue developing copy and content as we grow while maintaining that brand voice. So we call it Dan GPT. Our founder's name is Danny. And that became an integral part of being able to help develop, web page copy, social copy, anything else from there. And then as we started looking into third-party attribution platforms, Triple Whale being the one we picked, the biggest reason we picked it was, hey, we're not just investing in a third-party attribution software. Once we saw that Moby was a thing, it was obviously much earlier on. We're like, oh, this is a data science team coming into data science team capabilities coming into our team as well. And then it just exploded from there as the agents started getting rolled out. I know I was one of the very early testers on it, and I don't know, it was just a snowball effect of 90% of my day is spent in Triple Whale at this point.
That's awesome to hear and super helpful. And yeah, I guess I know we're going to talk about what agents you use, but before we do that, what did your process for creative analysis and performance, like how were you, before you started using Moby and agents, like what did that process look like and what tools were you in?
Very manual, a lot of Excel spreadsheets. I'm not a pivot table guy as well. So that's always been, I know I'm a media buyer as part of my role, but that's never been my strong suit. So I was the guy really running like our meta creative when I was doing creative testing, right? ABO ad sets in single creatives per ad set, right? And as I continued to get more familiar with all the capabilities that Triple Whale and Moby can bring into it, I also started kind of expanding my, I guess, being more okay with letting other, other AI opportunities like CBO testing, right, within Meta. I've transitioned over into that. I know that's a big debate among Meta media buyers as well still, but that's kind of where I lean now. Outside of that, it was like jumping in between like our Shopify analytics, Google Analytics. We had a couple other reporting tools built out by additional partners, and it was just so scattered, right? And trying to compare certain platform data with their different attribution models, it became just way too much of a chaotic mess to really sift through that noise and find the true nuggets that are going to grow the business.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I mean, makes sense. There's a lot when it's hard when things aren't centralized, and then even when they are, there's just so much data to look at that there's just not enough time. So I guess when you started using agents, which agents did you first start with, and then what have you added since?
So it started, very, very simply with like the early, Meta campaign performance analysis agents, right? The very first ones that were rolled out, the creative analysis. And I thought it was so cool. It's like, oh, like at the very beginning, it was just looking at, it had the ability to look at copy and identify, what's been working well across the account rather than me going individually down and trying to format and filter to like specific, ad types, right? And try and get a one-to-one comparison or as close as possible. Well, as Moby continued to expand its capabilities, now starting to be able to understand the images, right? And now video, now there's even like creative generation that's evolved to, I'm running that, a creative review agent for static and video ads every week, right? I'm sitting down with my designer or our graphic designer who really supports the ad side of things. And I say, okay, here's what's been working well over the last week from what we recently launched. Here's what isn't. Here's some new ideas for us to try and adapt our winners or pivot from the underperformers, and even generate some mock-ups, right, to pass over of like, hey, this is what I have in my head to the designer, right? And now I just want you to really tune it up and make it a Dixxon asset from there.
That's awesome. So have you found the creative generation, like what has that replaced in regards to process?
That's replaced, a lot of that has replaced like me manually going into like the Facebook ads library, trying to think of like, hey, these are brands where I think they're doing creative really well, like scouring through what I can see is running in their library and trying to think, okay, how would this concept translate to, Dixxon's view if we ran something like this from our account? Really just takes a lot of the manual like searching and getting that strong starting point, right? That's all automated now with Moby, and I can just essentially run this, Monday morning, I have my meeting Tuesday, so I can make any kind of tweaks or have it dive a little deeper before that meeting with my graphic designer, and I can really bring it to them in a state where, hey, here's everything you need. I pull it all into a creative brief, right? If it's especially if it's a more of the video side of things, if I'm bringing it to one of our video people,
Yeah.
I always have a full brief now that's really going in depth of who we're going after, what the different variations we want to try are, and here's all the formats we need to fit to run this concept.
That is awesome. I mean, that's such a good workflow and such a unique use case of using creative generation, and talk about like end to end, not only helping your job, but also the creative's job. Like that's amazing. Austin, I know we were talking before the call and you were saying you have like a favorite agent right now, your performance pacing agent. Would you want to show us that and kind of walk us through it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here. This is an agent that has really taken over a lot of my my July. Has been implemented into my July efforts. After our first week of July, we have a big, or during our first week of July, we have a big Christmas in July sale, right? 4 days, different offers each day. Last year was the first year we ran it, so we had some pretty high expectations for it. It fell short, honestly. We were about 30% under what we were paid, under what we had done the previous year, and our entire, our growth goal for 2025 is still 18% year over year growth. So I want to make sure, hey, we had a pretty impactful miss with that, start of the month sale. I need to make sure that we are on track and doing everything that we can to make up the growth that we didn't see from the early sale period and really get us more towards our numbers. So started after that first week, ran this monthly pacing agent. It's based on the growth targets that we have for July, right? And it's quickly evolved into, now I'm running this every single morning as we are getting closer to the end of the month, and it's definitely helped us close that gap. We are still, a little slightly under pacing against our end target, but that is dramatically different from prior to me beginning to implement this. And we still, with this last 7 days left, I feel pretty confident that we are going to be hitting our goals based on just some end of month offers that we are going to be running out, and other tactics that we're implementing to really pull us up. But essentially, I can bring this to our leadership team too as well. And just quick recap of like, here's where we're at with our order revenue, order volume, new customer targets, right? And where we're currently forecasted to, end the month. So from a high level, very easy, right? It takes us down into some strategic and tactical recommendations. Some of these I take with a grain of salt, or I may like adapt them based on recommendations that I know we are going to be implementing that the agent may not be aware of. Obviously, you can feed that agent additional context and have it rerun and incorporate into the final output. But I still kind of like being able to tweak it myself. But yeah, it'll go down towards like, here's where we're currently pacing. So revenue, it's a stretch for us to achieve that at this point. But again, it's not aware that we have some very big releases coming up over this next week. Our order volume looks like we're on pace to hit. New customer acquisition borderline. So I'm about 29 short of the month to date or the prorated target that I should be at for this date. I believe we're July. It's set for 12,000 customers, net new customers this month. And then our ROAS target, our blended ROAS target. So I know I'm going to be under my efficiency there from what I set up at, but at this point, I'm willing to sacrifice some efficiency and spend more to hit that overarching revenue and new customer acquisition target for the month of July. So obviously, it continues down, gives you some. This looks a little broken in the text analysis, but that's more for if I were to, pop over to the Gen UI dashboard, right? This all comes with nice visualizations. I personally just like to stick closer to the data, but if I'm bringing it to, leadership team, I'll make sure that the Gen UI visualizations are really tuned up and representing the data here as well.
That's amazing. No, this was such a comprehensive walkthrough. Thank you. And how long would a report like this take you to pull together if you didn't have a Moby agent?
I mean, so at this stage, it's, I click the button, run agent in the morning, takes 10 minutes for it to process and spit out the output. Actually building it, this was customized based on the kind of template performance pacing agent. So all I had to do was go in and identify, okay, where is it like defining our targets from. So I just replaced the numbers here of like, I know we're going after 7.5 million in order revenue target, et cetera, from there. In this case, since there is a Gen UI dashboard, I make sure to duplicate that over into the task for the Gen UI setup as well. But other than that, that's it. This agent itself, and that's what I love about it, is it's pretty good to go out of the box. And I just made a copy in case I broke anything while playing with it, and kind of tweaking it to our specific goals for the month of July.
Love that. Yeah, no, that's the goal. It's like, how can we get you the agent as close as what you need, make it really easy to tweak so that it's personalized to your business. But I really love to hear that. Now, I know we're coming up on time. I guess, what advice would you give to other brands looking to bring AI into their marketing workflows?
I would say it can be very overwhelming the first time you get into Moby agents, or really any type of if you have any kind of agent platform or capabilities outside of Triple Whale as well. There's so many opportunities. Spend that first week just playing as much as you can. Don't have any hard goals, but as you're playing, think about, okay, how would this translate to my weekly, daily, monthly routines? And then by that second week, pick 1 to 2 agents, whatever you feel comfortable with, and set a goal to like, hey, I'm going to make sure that this task is done by the agent. I'm going to do it manually first, right? And so I have all the correct data that I can double check against, make sure it's flowing properly, and then run the agents, make sure you can identify any tweaks needed if data may not be flowing properly, or if you may need to tweak, the specifics of the agent, right? And then, by week 2, you should be in a spot where that agent is now just ready to run, and you've taken that manual task completely off your list, and just keep growing that process of what is replacing your manual tasks, week by week. Just keep setting goals. I'm going to replace this, but make sure I'm verifying that, yes, this is set up correctly and it's working. So more work up front saves you a lot of time later on.
So smart. Yeah, super thoughtful to be like, okay, what are the tasks week over week? I think that's a really good approach than starting with like, okay, what are the agents I should do? It's like, no. Let's think about what in my day-to-day is the easiest to start to automate, and what would be most impactful. So I love that, Austin. This has been so great chatting as always. Really, really helpful. I know the audience absolutely loved it. So thank you so much for all your time. And thanks everyone for tuning in.